Hey, this is Skullgirdle, and welcome to my favorite releases of 2020 Pandemic Edition. I have been like everybody else and seeking comfort, fuzzy binkies, warm socks, hot tea, and also old music that I've loved for years and years and years. I've been listening to some glam rock, Bowie, T Rex, Roxy Music, some of my favorites, old country, Johnny Cash, Dolly Parton, Patsy Cline, fucking love Patsy Cline. A little Motown with Jackson 5, still Motown, believe it or not, and Benny Keith, a little Roy Orbison, just shit that I fucking love. A little Simon Garfunkel, been listening to a lot of that lately, and Fleetwood Mac, and just stuff from when I was, actually, I can't say really small because oldies are popular here and there, and fucking Motown, y'all, come on. Anyway, so I didn't think I was listening to very much, but I guess I was because I went and chose my favorites, and there's like 20 fucking tabs here. I think I counted. It might be 20, 21. I don't know. It's somewhere in there. So there's a lot, and I'm just gonna go through them tab by tab. I just pulled out stuff that I like, and it's in no particular order. It is not alphabetic. It is not by release date. It is not by my favorite. It is not by any order. I do have a favorite album. I'll mention it. But no, otherwise it's not in any order. So I'm going to describe as best I can these albums. Every single one of them I recommend. And I'm a big fan of buying your music when you can. Again, if you can't, play them on Bandcamp. Share the fuck out of that shit. And, let's treat our artists like they're artists and share their stuff so they get more recognition because they fucking deserve it. And you know that the music that we listen to is considered obscure. Like some of these are considered extremely obscure. If you think about in the mainstream, think about our bands that we think are pretty famous. I mean, some of them we've all heard of, like Sisters of Mercy. Most people from back then heard of them. But how many of your oh God, probably parents. Oh Jesus, I'm old. But how many people outside of our community, the goth world, have heard of Clan of Zymox? And to us, they're super fucking famous. So you get what I'm saying. This is obscure shit. Whatever. Let's move on. Starting with Horror Vacui, Living for Nothing. Horror Vacui is just a fucking great band out of Italy. They're, I would say, somewhere gothic rock, post-punk. They hit a lot of markers for me. This is a good release. The music on here is outstanding. The production quality is fantastic. Quite honestly, it's about what I'd expect from Horror Vacui, which is a kick-ass release with great production. And I got this on vinyl from Italy. Little snafu with Bandcamp, but they got it to me and everything worked out really, really well. And it's fucking beautiful. I love it and I'm so glad I bought it. If you like just goth music, you're going to like this. I mean, Horror Vacui, they kick 19,000 kinds of ass. Next up, Pilgrims of Yearning. They are post-punk. Sorry, my brain stopped working for a second there. With periodic forays into a little bit of a death rock sound. It's really, really nice. They're very fucking political. And they do a great job of it. The singer and the guitarist are out of Chile. So, Chile's recently had I'd say a mostly peaceful revolution. I'm not entirely sure how that's gone afterwards, but they are politically active. They're definitely singing about the things that they see, and it really makes for some very good music. They also make really good, I don't want to say homespun, but they do their own videos and they do a great job of it. I love it. I love the DIY feel of this band. I Am the Shadow. Wow, Pitch Black is perfect because it came up fucking pitch black. I Am the Shadow, Pitch Black. Gothic rock out of Lisboa, Portugal. Lisbon, Portugal. Always good. Beautiful keyboards on this album. Really, really good. That perfect kind of gothic rock mix that kind of borders on that dark wave that every once in a while you're like, oh, this dark wave is gothic rock. Well, I think it's gothic rock. Of course, other people may say different stuff about the genre because I don't consider myself a genre expert. But everything I've heard by I Am the Shadow is outstanding. Again, they're kind of like Horror Vacui. If you just like goth music and you think of gothic rock and post-punk, that's goth music. I love that shit. You are going to love this band. Do they sound like they're out of the 80s? No. They sound like they're fucking contemporary. Not everything sounds like it's out of the 80s or 90s right now. I Am the Shadows, one of those bands that does not sound like that to me. All right. A Starry Night, Here Lies. They're one of my favorite fucking goth bands. Like, top, we'll go with 7. Top 7. They might be top 3. I fucking love this band. And I've loved everything I've ever heard by them. I've got, I think most of what they have. I have like 4 or 5 albums. I don't know what the fuck. This is one of the goth bands I listened to so fucking much during the pandemic. So much during the pandemic. Midnight Conversations is one of my all-time favorite albums. I fucking love it. So Capulet Loves Montague is the single that they led with on this one. Really good. A Starry Night is post-punk, but there's something about them that sets them apart. And having seen them live, I can tell you one thing for sure, is when they're live, you can hear more of what's happening, and they have a lot going on. They have such, it's different vocals. It's just the whole feel of it, and the drums really stand out to me as something special with A Starry Night. So Here Lies, you are not going to go wrong with A Starry Night. I mean, come on. And if you can see them live, whoo, do it. All right, so this is Chemical Waves. This album got a lot of talk because it's fucking fantastic, even when we fall apart. This is outstanding. I think it's post-punk. Again, y'all, I just go goth music because the genres are blending. Honestly, we're getting a lot of crossover in our genre, a lot of fusion between goth genres. They call themselves post-punk, darkwave, synth pop. Yeah, I think that's appropriate. This album is one of the do not miss of 2020. I mean, to me personally, most of these are, but this is one that has been recognized by like every fucking body. It's fantastic. Velvet Kills is a little bit more towards the dark wave synth pop sound. And this one is, it's got a detriment. That's called Only 6 Songs because it's a fucking kick-ass album. And I don't know what it was. It was a pre-order, and I've been doing more pre-orders because I'm trying to be supportive than I have. I keep hitting my glasses, which I'm not putting on because I keep fucking fogging them up. And when I got it, I was like, wow, this is better than I remember the bits on the pre-order. Really nicely done. Really, it just has a little bit more of a modern sound to it. I love that. I think that Velvet Kills, I know it says Velvet Kills by Body Labyrinth, but it's Body Labyrinth by Velvet Kills. Outstanding. I am excited to see what they come up with. I think they're working on something new. I forget. Okay, Red Mishima. This is more of a darkwave post-punk. Again, there's a lot of darkwave and post-punk. In the US, we're just darkwave and post-punk, darkwave and post-punk, darkwave and post-punk. We don't really get to see, well, nobody gets to see anybody live. All right, nobody gets to see shit live. But in Dallas, we really see post-punk and darkwave and new wave, which I know, not goth, but whatever, comes around to our area. And so I'm still seeing a lot of post-punk and darkwave. And right now, post-punk seems to be the thing that's hot, and Red Mishima does not disappoint. And this is their debut, Red Mishima. And I can't see, I forget which song it is that I love so much on here. So you'll just have to go fucking listen to it and find out for yourself which song you love on there. All right. This is a band that I just fucking love this band. Out of Leeds, Byronic Sex in Exile, Kufok. I probably said that wrong. Hearts on Fire. I'm trying to remember exactly what Kufok means. It's Romanian. And this is actually an album that's researched. It was half written in Leeds, half written in Romania at Dracula's castle. And there's a song on here. It's the third song, Timisoara Eyes, which is based on a Romanian folktale. Sorry, I'm getting hoarse because I made this whole video before. Oi! And I'm trying to go fast because, well, I'll be honest, I have something on the stove, and lucky I left it on low heat. Anyway, this has a lot of acoustic. It's got a lot of piano, not keyboard, piano. And it's very rich, I think, in storytelling. And it's just got everything. It almost has swashbuckling in it. It's got romance. It's got pain. It's got isolation. It's got loneliness. It's got triumph. And it is like reading a book from start to finish. I mean, there are 3 parts to Lucia Farul. I know I slaughtered that. I'm so very sorry. But it really works. And Eternity is just a really nice cap to this album. I've seen some people go, that band's not goth. And I'm like, fuck you, they're goth. I personally think they fit, even though a lot of it's acoustic. Your Name on the Wind, to me, is nicely gothic rock. Okay, so Paharda by Nuremberg, and this is Russian post punk. Even though Russian post punk is not all Russian, it's Ukraine, Belarus, it's Latvia, it's Georgia, it's also Estonia, Lithuania. So I forget exactly. They're Belarus. They're fucking Belarus. And they're on Serbian Records out of Russia. So they get kind of thrown in with the Russian post punk. But this album is out fucking standing. This is one of the better, let's call them Belarusian post punk albums that was released this year. And that's saying something because there was a shitload of fucking amazing Eastern. No, well, just go with Russian, whatever, that area. All right, None of Your Concern put out Primer. And this is dark wave. I would say this is dark wave, maybe synth pop. It's a little bit different. Cold wave. Oh, yeah, cold wave kind of fits. So it is kind of slightly more, I would say, more experimental. This is a band that may not be considered exactly goth, but I would think the audience would be at least half goth. This is fucking kick-ass. I think they're out of, Chicago. They're out of Chicago. And, I mean, that album art is fucking drop dead, man. Look at that. Ah, so beautiful. I love that photography. So, Primer, by None of Your Concern. If you want something a little bit different that reaches out but doesn't go, what the fuck is that shit? It's like, oh yeah, what the fuck is that shit? That's good shit. All right, next we have Camlan. And I first heard about these guys when they just had like 2 singles on SoundCloud. SoundCloud? Whatever it is. SoundCloud, McCloud, whatever the fuck it is. So they put out a full-length album. I feel like they put out an EP too. And they've got another album coming out. These guys are fucking amazing out of Jakarta, Indonesia. And they have somehow managed to mix that sound with that truly nostalgic 80s. They've taken some of the best elements of the 80s and added modern elements and put on post-punk, new wave, and a little bit of goth here and there. So while I feel like they fit really well in the goth genre, not every song is going to be specifically goth, but they do a damn fine job of this. And you can tell that they love the 80s, but they're not trying to live the 80s. And I love that. And the other thing I love is that they're very fucking young, like high school young. High school young to come up with something this polished is just out of this world. And I'm so excited because they're so young and they're innovative. I mean, like I said, they definitely love the 80s, but they've managed to put something together that doesn't just sound like the fucking 80s. And in the next few years, we're going to see them start to innovate and grow. And I am so excited to see bands like this because this is what breathes life into the goth subculture. This is what helps us grow and remain, right? And I can't, I cannot say enough great about this band. They are fucking amazing. They're putting out outstanding music. Next, this seems obvious. Oh, that's on the list, obviously. Then Comes Silence, one of my all-time favorite gothic rock bands, if not my all-time favorite gothic rock bands, has put out an album, and I'm here for it. I got the pin, I got the vinyl. I'm like, do I have a shirt? I have 2 patches, but I love this fucking band. I have all their discography. They're just one of my favorites. And Machine is a beautiful evolution from where they came from when they did Then Comes Silence 1. They've done 5 albums. You can hear in every album they grow a little bit. And this is an evolution that seems fitting for them. I'm not saying it's expected. I'm saying it feels right. And they did a great job. And they did a duet on here, a full-on duet, a Ritual with Carolina Engdahl. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. The voices weave in and out. It's really, I feel like it's really nicely done. It's a duet. It's a duet. It's not bringing a woman into a gothic rock band to do backing vocals. No, she's singing with Alex, and it's really very nicely done. As all their other albums, beautifully produced, well balanced. They have the signature guitar, the signature drums, the signature everything. There's just Then Comes Silence they just are in and of themselves finally done gothic rock and modern. They are modern. They don't sound like they're out of the 80s. Fuck yeah. Or the 90s. All right, I can't. Oh, Mary. All right, this is a band that's kind of post-punk shoegaze. So if you like those two things and you like them mixed up, you're gonna like Mary. This is unexpected. Somebody's like, "Hey, have you heard this band?" I went and listened. I was like, "Holy shit, this is good. This is fucking amazing." They're out of Toronto, Canada, and they just made a beautiful record. And it's not their. I don't think it's their first one. They've got a few, but this is a really well done album. It's just absolutely beautiful. And I think that, again, I say if you like post punk and you like shoegaze, then this is, I'd say, post punk with some shoegaze elements that I think are pretty fucking obvious. If I caught it, it's got to be obvious, right? The first of two compilations I have on here. I think I've just got the two. And this is put out by Psychic Eye, which is out of Oakland, California. And this is a highly inclusive, intentionally inclusive label. And by inclusive, I mean that they have a lot of women, femme, different backgrounds, different cultures, different races, what you name it. Psychic Eye is like, yes, please, let's do that. This particular album, No Silence, Sounds of the Underground, is a compilation that's done to benefit trans services and anti-ICE groups. So anti-ICE, ICE being the fuckheads in the US who are deporting people, including decorated soldiers. I was like, this guy's a decorated soldier. You know what? Automatic citizenship, motherfucker. They're the people keeping children at the border. They're the people in cages. That's ICE. When you hear about ICE, they're part of the deportation process of the xenophobia of the US. So to see this be put out in honor of both trans and ICE and anti-ICE, fuck yeah, I bought it. It's $20 because it's a benefit album, and it is worth every single penny because this is some fucking badass music. If you like Riot Grrrl, post-punk, stuff that's in your face, stuff that's a little bit experimental, stuff that brings elements from all sorts of different musical backgrounds, you are going to like this. It is going to wake your ass up. It is heavily political. It is in your face, and it is worth every penny of what I paid for it and more. It's outstanding. My favorite song is actually by Over, The Death of Autonomy. I mean, it stood out, and I just listened to it like 3 times the first time I heard this. This is one of those albums that when I first got it, I listened to it straight through twice. So good. Remember that. Psychic Eye. This label is kick-ass. This is the same label as Otzi Storm. And Akiko Samson is very active in Psychic Eye, one of the founders of Psychic Eye, and the lead singer of Otzi. So this is kick-ass, full of energy because they are full of fucking energy. I don't know. This is a band that I have been wanting to see live and have not gotten the chance to, and now we're in a goddamn pandemic, so it's going to take for fucking ever. But they are, from what I've heard, on your must-see list, and this is fucking solid post-punk that sneaks over every once in a while into a little bit of death rock and a little bit of that Riot Grrrl feeling. So it's beautifully produced. It's smooth in its transitions from song to song. It is outstanding. I cannot recommend it enough. It's on like almost everybody's top 10 list. It is really just such an amazing fucking release. We're getting there. Almost done. I've actually done this whole video like 2 other times in practice, and so I've got it down. We're getting through faster because the last video was 38 minutes, and we're going to be under 30. All right, next is the other compilation, which was put out by Venus Aeon in collaboration with Obscura Undead. And I think it was Azzy and Mouse that actually did the work on this, helping them choose songs for Blood and Dust. And it's Blood and Dust, a gothic western, and they mean it. There are songs on here that have a western feel, like an American cowboy western feel, if you want to know what western means in this particular case. So when you think Dusty Cowboy with this, you're really thinking fucking Dusty Cowboy. And some of the songs on here are just, I don't even know where they found them, but they're fantastic. And my favorite on this one is Gunslinger by The Dust Ride. And I went to go buy the album because I was like, I want more of that. Holy crap, that is so innovative and interesting. And I'll be damned if it's not a single. It was the only thing out by The Dust Ride. So I'm hoping that that particular band will put out more songs. But I mean, Dark Side Cowboys, Caligula's, Cliff and Ivy. There's all sorts of stuff. It's got just this different feel from any other compilation I've ever heard and any other goth music I've ever heard. I think it's out of this world. And hell yeah, I am really fucking glad I bought that one. I cannot recommend it, Blood and Dust. But I have to say, having heard 3 compilations put together by, what I say, Obscura Undead. This is Obscura Undead in collaboration with Venus Aeon. So they all put it together. But Obscura Undead usually does a pretty damn fine compilation, of which there are 2 others. No, they're not in my list. Next, this is a recent and joyous discovery of a band called Cervix Couch. They are death rock, and they sound like death rock. This is called Charon, I think, or Karen. Oh my God, is it Karen? Oh, that'd be great. That would be great if it's Karen. But with Cervix Couch, you got to think this is a little femme. There's some femme shit going on here. And I mean, it's death rock. Death rock is frequently political, socially active, etc. But this is a really good band. I stumbled on them. I was just looking for new goth music, and I'll be damned, I was looking for gothic rock of all things, because I'm constantly on Bandcamp looking for gothic rock, goth rock, whatever is in there. And a lot of stuff gets lumped in there because people use that tag because it's kind of popular. So, they want to get as much view as they can. And really, death rock, when they put gothic rock on there, a lot of us who listen to gothic rock love death rock. And I happen to love death rock. It's not my genre that I know very much about. Okay, I'm lame. I'm fucking lame in death rock. But this is death rock, and they labeled it for me. And it's fucking beautiful, and it's femme. A lot of feminine energy. I say femme instead of woman. But I say femme-fronted so that you know that it's somewhere between woman, trans, femme, non-binary, presenting femme, something like that. So this band kicks fucking ass. Cervix Couch. Give them a listen. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Kick ass. All right, this is a band that I can't say is strictly goth. They're kind of like shoegaze with post-punk. They're like a really good blend of those things, but I fell in love head over heels earlier in the year with the release from last year by Vivi and the Void, which is, I forget the name of it because I suck shit. Whatever. Actually, it's from 2018. We're not talking about that, though. We're talking about Elevator to the Unknown, which came out December 17th, I believe. Yep, December 17th. And I've listened to this album probably 10, 12, 14 times since then. It is one of my favorite recent ones. It's definitely my favorite end of year album. And one of the reasons I'm really glad I waited until January to do this, because then it got to be on my list. And I think it actually made it on Obscura Undead's list as well, that I sent in for Obscura Undead. But it is fucking fantastic. If you like shoegaze and you like goth music, this is just good. I know I said before you can't go wrong. I mean, what am I, selling used cars? No, I'm on fast fucking forward. I had a lot, and I mean a lot of caffeine today. Anyway, Elevator to the Unknown by Vivi and the Void. Such a beautiful, beautiful release. I know I keep saying that about everything, but I mean, I put my favorites on here, right? It's strong. It's got a great flow, and it's definitely got some of that much loved shoegaze reverb and fuzz. All right, here's one that's a little unusual, which is Black Rose Burning. And it's unusual because it's mostly acoustic. And it's pretty much, when you listen to it, you're like, that's a dude with a guitar. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a goth dude with a guitar. And I think, even though it's acoustic, it fits in the gothic rock genre. I mean, if I got it wrong, please, in the comments, feel free to correct me. I mean, it's nice that I can hit those glasses and they haven't broken yet. Jeez Louise. But this is really, this is something I like to listen to on Monday morning. I want to say I probably listened to it on a few Monday mornings, and this may be November. I was like, this feels like it was around Thanksgiving, U.S. Thanksgiving. So November. So I've listened to this several mornings since I got it. Like I said, everything on this list I've listened to probably at least 10 times. Some of them probably 20 or 30. And again, same complaint. It's a little short, but you know what? EPs are the thing that make you want more. And as an entertainer, you always want people wanting more. You want them coming back for more. And this really does it. If you are a lover of acoustic guitar and a dude and a guitar, pretty much, this is going to be a great release for you to listen to. It's really, really nicely done. It's quiet and more sedate without being fucking boring. All right, Delphine Coma. Hell yeah. And I have this one, and I have the Leaving the Scene, I think. And I got confused because Leaving the Scene came out on physical media this year. And so I was thinking it was released in 2020. And I was like, well, I don't know which one to choose. Should I put both on? Should I know? So I went back and looked at the dates, and I'll be damned. Torturosa is this year. And Delphine Coma is good goth music. Really nicely done. And I want to say that they're a little bit more towards gothic rock, little post punk, little dark wave in there. Little I don't feel synth pop from but I don't synth pop is just a genre I just don't know well enough. So if that's in there, please let me know. But if you haven't been listening to Delphine Coma, then start, because they're really nicely done, beautifully produced. Most of these are beautifully produced, but you know what? I also like stuff that sounds like GarageBand, and some of the stuff on No Silence definitely has that kind of loud, brash sound. It's all good to me. I don't see highly produced or lo-fi. I don't see either as better. I just see them as different. And now we get to the very last one I have. We're going to come in right at half an hour. Perfect. And this is my favorite album of the year, and that is Zola Zemlya by Morwan. And I have to read it every time I say it. Yes, I do. And it's the one I always call it, the one with the meteor on it. Morwan is out of Kiev, Ukraine. And that's why I said a lot of what we're calling Russian post-punk is not necessarily exactly in Russia. So look at where the band is from, I mean, if it matters to you. But this comes out of Feel It Records as opposed to Serpian. Serpian being the Russian label that is putting out so much right now. But Morwan has done something amazing. They have this Arabic sound to them without being, I don't know, cheesy about it, or it's subtle. It's actually really subtle. You can hear it in the beats. You can hear it in some of the lines, the riffs. I'm sorry. I was like, what are the lines? I can see it in lines. I see the bass moving, the guitar moving. But some of I don't really think it's in the vocals. I don't think there's very much in the vocals. Definitely the vocals have more of that Russian post-punk sound. But the Arabic influence in here, you can hear it in the beats. You can hear it in the bass, guitar, all that kind of stuff. And it is one of the more innovative and beautiful, although some people would say that some of this is not specifically goth. I think that this is something that goths love. So for me, if it's well loved by goths, that's goths and goth-related genre. And that is it. And now I gotta go because I have to cough. And that's why my eyes are crying. It's from talking a mile a minute. And that wraps up my favorite releases of 2020. And I probably even had a couple more. And there's shit coming out all over the place. And that really sounded like an exploding toilet. And with that, hey, thanks for watching. Until next time.